Hey, you! I'm your nutrition coach. My name is Jackie Poole. Welcome to Happiness is a Healthier Habit. Let's get today's episode started. Hello, hello. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday, my friend. I am so glad you're here. Today we have a very special guest. We have Lizzie Brown. She is the co-founder of Yoga Wake Up. She will be talking to us about the importance of waking up with a more positive and resilient mindset with her yoga app, which is going to help us align perfectly with improving our habits and our mood throughout the day, because this is the way you want to get started. In the episode, we're going to talk about so many things to improve our daily life, but also on the show notes below, you will get a 7-day free trial to try her incredible app. This is going to help you wake up much better in the morning with a more positive mindset, to stay in tune with a more positive frequency throughout the day. So it's a must-have to start your morning, but check it out. And now let's begin with the show. Hi, Lizzie.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. How was vacay?
So vacay I went to Burning Man. It's a lot of work, so it doesn't always feel like a vacation, but this year in particular felt actually like I got to recharge just
Oh,
because it was a really incredible experience. And it wasn't that much work. So
right.
that was great.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I want to welcome you to Happiness is a Healthier Habit. I'm so glad you're here, and we're going to get a chance to talk. Um, so what I find is most people have a problem going on with their life and they find a solution, right? They try to find something that's going to work for them. And so tell me more about how Yoga Wake Up, came to be or was born, or what problems were you having that this was came to mind?
Thank you, and thanks for having me. Yoga Wake Up actually started in a yoga class. It was a class led by one of the teachers, the first teacher on our app, Jen Smith, and she started the class in Shavasana, which is typically the pose that people think of at the end of a yoga class. It's the corpse pose, and um, she asked everyone to, she was whispering for starters, and she asked everyone to grab blankets and bolsters and imagine that they had been sleeping and start on their backs lying down. And then she eased you into some gentle stretches and then got everyone standing. And then she kind of announced, "Good morning." And it was such a kind of aha moment. Not for me, actually, for my husband, who at the time he was dealing with me at home snoozing my alarm 2 or 3 times every morning. It was 30 minutes a day of him, being jolted awake and then having to fall back asleep multiple times. And he thought, okay, why aren't we waking up like this? And maybe this will cure my wife's snoozing issue. So he brought it home and tested it on me, and I loved it. And then we told Jen, the teacher, and she was all about it and recorded the content with her. It was a 10-minute practice that's called Spirit Yoga. That's actually inspired by that particular class, and you can find it on our app. I mean, there's now hundreds of other practices that are all between 5 to 15 minutes that wake you up gently with yoga instead of your jarring alarm.
Yeah.
And that was the original one that started it all.
And a lot of people do that. My husband is one of them. Like, he can snooze for like 3, 4 times. I hate the weekends because you want to sleep in sometimes, and he forgot to snooze his alarm or something. And instead of turning it off, Like he will just snooze forever. And I'm just like, why don't we just wake up? Let's just get up. And this is something that we've done and dealt with for a while. And so what I've done is just kind of switch my routine out of his routine. So I'm like, I just wake up before him so I won't have to deal with the snoozing. But
Smart. That's a good idea too. It's always one person in the relationship that has this bad habit, and then you kind of have to find a way to make it work. We know we work with or are familiar with a fantastic sleep doctor, Wendy Troxel, and she has actually written a book. I can't remember the title, but she's written a book about couples and the challenges that they may face with sleep issues because we have such unique preferences.
exactly. He's not such a morning person. Like he is such a night owl. He does more things at night. So morning is not his jam. And so I can definitely understand that part of
Mhm.
like, okay, let's find something to make things better in the morning as far as like snoozing. Like for me, I'm a very morning, like I love the morning. I wake up at 4:30 to get my workout in before we start getting the kids ready. So like I have like my routines and how I do things. And tell me some of the benefits of having these types of routines in the mornings in place, like yoga wake up, that will help us,
Right.
have a better morning or day.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, habits are just about making our lives easier. When you make something into a habit and it's something that becomes second nature that you can do every day or do at the same time every day, it becomes this natural thing you do next. It kind of takes all the guesswork out of it. Like I have a daily yoga practice that I do in addition to waking up with our short abbreviated version. And it's a much more disciplined practice called Ashtanga. And it is something that I have found when I am going every day, it's cumulative and it builds on itself, but also it gets so much easier
Yeah.
versus if I skip 3 or 4 days and then I'm like dragging my feet trying to make it happen. Not to mention, I'm more sore. Like if you can, kind of you think about these keystone habits like brushing your teeth or the kind of simple stuff that you do every day and how can you stack maybe something new that you want to try on top of it so that you can get that same benefit of doing it every day. And yeah, I think about that with yoga wake up all the time because it's designed to replace your alarm clock. It is something that you can seamlessly incorporate into your daily routine. And I think that's when you start to really see the magical benefits of having a daily mindfulness practice when you
I love
when you
that.
commit to it.
Yeah, for sure. Like we are getting back into school routines.
Yep.
Summer's kind of like all over the place. There's not really a time where we do certain things. And now, like this first month, I think we've got our routines established and, implementing these little things. I think, like
Yeah.
you said, when we brush our teeth, like it's something so automatic that we
Yep.
already do. So
Yep.
just attaching these little other things will just make life easier and simpler and not hard, right? We just don't think about it and things get done. And that's what makes life super simple.
It does. It does. And remind me, how old are your kids?
Oh man. So they're 9, 6, and 4. So they're
Yeah.
all under 10. So they're still needing mommy to wake them up sometimes and
Sure.
kind of haul them in the mornings. Come on, let's get up. So like I start by turning on the music, right? I turn on the Alexa and like 15 minutes before I go turn on their lights. So they know like, okay,
Something's
what's
about to,
coming
it's
next.
time to start getting myself up for the day. It's so important too with kids because they thrive with that structure. And if you can get them implementing some of those habits early on, then it comes naturally as they grow up because life
Yeah,
gets complicated as you get older and you have
for
more and more
sure.
things that you have to do every day. And it's good to have, a set, I don't know, like a menu, a set of things that you can do in the morning that don't really require a lot of thought. Just,
Yeah, for sure. No, it's something that we enjoy doing as like routines. I work
yep.
with a lot of moms, right? A lot of moms that have to go to work or they have little ones. And, I hear a lot like, oh my gosh, the first weeks of school, they're so hard. They don't want to get up. But something that we worked on is like trying to have that same routine throughout the summer as far as like our
Hmm.
sleeping schedule goes, not let them go to sleep too late or you kind of wake up at the same time every day,
Yeah.
even though we don't have anywhere to go or, we don't have to get ready. It's just like, did we brush our teeth?
Yep.
Did we, set our clothes the night before bed? So things that we can do for them to make it easier, that's
Yep.
definitely worked for us.
I'll tell you too, it was an interesting observation that we had several years ago with the app, which was we started to realize that a lot of our most active users are in education. They're either teachers, school teachers, or trainers, or coaches. And we thought, okay, not only is this a testament to this and how it works and its benefits, but they're so important. It's so important that they have structure because they're passing that on to their students or to their clients. So
Yeah.
I appreciated when I saw that because especially as we're getting into back to school and getting into a new routine and coming off of summer, it's important for their sanity.
Yes. Well, what I've realized is like we're used to getting up and just getting ready. Okay, what's next? What's next? What's next? I feel like yoga wake up kind of slows things down at that
Right.
moment and just
Yeah.
kind of because I've tried it. I downloaded the
Yay.
app and it just kind of slowly wakes me up as far as like, okay, kind of like I forgot which one I was doing, but I love the sound because it really just tones. It's not like beep 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 or like
Right.
a brunt noise that's just waking me up. So I like that because it's just like, okay, like a very calm
Hmm.
voice and noise to hear. What other tips can you give us that yoga wake up would help us in specifically
Mm.
in that era?
Well, when we started the app, it was obviously for mornings, but then we got a lot of feedback that our customers wanted also help falling asleep. And so we started to evolve the app into, especially because it's designed for routine, we started to add bedtime content and even content for like your afternoon breaks. That was something that during COVID was really important to kind of break up the monotony of the day. And I think it's still meaningful now when so many people have like remote jobs. So there's a variety of audio content by teachers that you fall in love with listening to them in the morning, and then you can access their content in the evenings. And it's these rituals are so just as if not more important in the evenings when you're trying to wind down and get better sleep. And we always say your morning routine really does begin at night. It
Yes.
begins the night before. And so I think that's I'm it's not groundbreaking information. I think we all know that we should, in order to sleep better, there are some rituals that we can uh, take into account. But we have designed the app so it's accessible for all times of day because that's serving that particular need.
Yeah, I love that. And actually, you'd be surprised. People aren't just aware of that. They might have heard it here and there. Like I work with, like I said, moms. Right now, I'm working with two teachers and a mom that just went back to work. And they struggle with winding down because
Hmm.
they have a, 1-year old and they have a 8-year old, or they're trying to get everything ready. And by the time it's bedtime, they just kind of go to bed and that's it,
Yeah,
right? There's no
yeah,
winding down. And I do say that, morning routines start at night, getting ready, your self-care routine, whether it starts with brushing your teeth, washing your face, doing your facial night
yeah.
routine, maybe a couple of deep breaths, before bed. And I don't think it's talked about that much because it's surprising to me that they're like, oh my God, I felt they felt so much better. And it just took like 5 minutes, right?
Well, and that's exactly it, right? We don't when you're just surviving, when you're, just trying to get through the younger years, and you're putting your kids to sleep, or you have, if you work late or trying to, make dinner, there's so many things going on in the evenings, working with homework. I remember those days. My son is 18, so I don't have to deal with that as much anymore. But it's 5 minutes or even 2 minutes. It's so important to especially for moms and dads, to find time for themselves where they can get it, wherever they can get it. And even if that's just a few minutes, it makes such a difference. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And, talking about sleep, here in Texas, time is going to change here in like a month. And so with this fall season and school starting, what are some tips that you can give us to maybe manage the time change and help with our sleep?
I know, it's so interesting. Why do we still do that?
Some states, some states I've read that are trying to fight that and kind of
Yeah.
change that. I think New York and like some upper states were doing that. Texas was not one of them. So
Mhm, mhm.
I'm preparing for that. But anything that you can give us to help
Oh,
us.
yeah. I can definitely say that as it starts to get dark, regardless of what time it is outside, what actual time it is, we start winding down. I dim the lights. Try to reduce screen time in the evenings. Um, Definitely, if you can, trying to get at least, I think it's like 7.5 to 9 hours is a range of sleep for us. But I know it can be it's confusing because you're not tired necessarily when it's supposed to be bedtime. Or even it's more difficult to wake up, but the more that consistency is in place already, then it just makes that transition easier.
Right.
um, Having and not just consistency, the same amount of sleep every night, but going to bed and waking up around the same time every day really makes a difference in the quality of our sleep. um, and and there's this book that I read over the summer, called Change Your Schedule, Change Your Life. And it kind of takes into it's inspired by Ayurveda,
Okay.
and Ayurvedic Eastern medicine, but tends it I highly recommend it. It takes into account the seasons and the time of day and these cycles that tend to impact, you know our digestion and our sleep, and all of that is so connected. So even
Right.
something as simple as eating, earlier in the evening can make a difference in the quality of our rest at night.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Is there something that you particularly do for your nighttime routine?
Yeah. So I read in bed, which always I find that I don't really get very far. I usually fall asleep within 3 or 4 pages. So reading is a great way for me to wind down in the evenings. Right now, especially because it's been so much warmer, I always take shower before bed. Just I find that I sleep so much better when I've had a warm, not too hot shower, prior to bedtime. And I'm really making a conscious effort to reduce screen time in the evenings. It's difficult because there's so much good stuff on television, and it's a nice way to wind down. I don't, I, I love being entertained, but I think that I do try to not do that and then fall asleep. Like give myself an hour or two in between, having watched a show and then getting ready
Yeah,
for
I know
bed.
how that is. We do like like on Fridays, we do movie nights, right? So
Yeah. Yeah, and
we
there's no going to sleep immediately after that.
no, no, no. So I like bought like the blue like blocking glasses like on Amazon or something that would kind of help
Yeah.
with the blue light a little bit. So it's not like okay, I'm doing something good, but I'm also like, kind
Yeah.
of meeting in the middle where I can as far as that goes because it is hard. There's
Yeah.
times where we want to stay up late or, be with the family or go out and do something and it's not going to be like perfect every single
Yeah.
day and that's okay.
Yeah. There are nights when I just have too much on my mind, or my mind is racing, and I'm, or I'm excited about something. There's something exciting going on the next day. It's difficult to fall asleep. And on those nights, I cue up a bedtime meditation. And the funny thing is, I try. It's like this strange, like, well, no, I can do it. I can do it by myself. And so I'll try to fall asleep on my own. And then if I'm, tossing and turning, I'll finally just put it on. And I don't know why I wait so long. Like, I don't know why I don't just do it right away, but I'm trying to self-soothe, and then when I realize, oh, I can't do it, I need to play something that's going to just calm my mind. I put it on, and then I'm asleep in minutes. It makes such a
No.
big difference.
No, it does. And maybe you're just trying to wait till see if you fall asleep on your own. I
Yeah,
found that I've read that maybe if we like go and read, like you said, like if I can't
yeah.
fall asleep within the first 15 minutes and I go and grab my book again or
Hmm.
something that will change the cycle and then I'll come and try. Because I think
Yeah,
it's like maybe my body wasn't tired enough to go to
yeah.
bed at the time. And like you said, sometimes we're excited. I was excited about today's interview, so it was just like something new. And so those thoughts sometimes just come in your head and
I do.
it's normal. It's part of life. And it could be anything. It could be something stressful. It could be something, exciting, something
Hmm.
that's changing. So there's so many things that are constantly going in our lives, I think. And, it's always something different and just finding little ways of tweaking and making it better to improve
Hmm.
the quality of our sleep too.
So important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with us having these conversations and we're talking about change and sleep, um, and all of these things that can make our sleep change and in our household, we have so many things going on as a mom. And so, what things can you give us, or what tips can you give us to incorporate the specific breath work or things that
Mm.
will help us manage our stress?
Awesome. Definitely. Well, I'm a huge proponent of yoga and meditation, obviously. And breath work is a great modality. I mean, there's so many different kinds of breath work for, stress and for focus. And one of my favorite breaths is the, oh gosh, Nadi Shodhana pranayama, which is alternate nostril breathing,
Okay.
and it's something. So they can't see me, so I can't demo it, but it is something that the teachers on our app talk you through. And the way that it's done is if you make a peace sign with your fingers and then you put that peace sign up at the bridge of your nose, you
Okay.
will alternate covering your right and left nostrils as you inhale and exhale. And it is one of the most, it completely calms and resets your nervous system. And I find if I am anxious before bedtime and for whatever reason I don't feel like going to press play on anything, I will try that first.
Okay.
And it can be done any time of day and actually doesn't necessarily make you sleepy. It just helps you
Wind down.
recenter. Like
Yeah.
it allows you to, if something is distracting your mind and you do this, then you can be calm or be focused or be relaxed, but that will serve you with whatever you're about to do next, whether that's sleep or write a paper or make an
Yeah.
important phone call
It
or do
kind
an
of
interview. All of these things that maybe feel a little overwhelming. That
yeah.
is a really nice practice, and it
Kind
only
of
takes
reminds me
12
of
minutes.
tapping a little bit. I don't, have you heard
Yeah,
of tapping
I have
before?
heard of tapping. Mhm.
Yeah, that's it's been a while since I've heard of it. But I remember, they like start up here and then they move like towards different places in their body. So
Mhm.
it's just kind of like something that you normally wouldn't do, I think, maybe. Do you think that is it just like a distraction of the brain doing something new or different?
Um, Tapping or alternate nostril
Oh,
breathing or
yeah,
any both.
natural breathing, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a way of
Because I've
just
never heard of that. That's new.
pausing.
Always
Mhm.
hear like box breathing or things like those are more common that I hear. But this is the first time that I hear doing that, so I'm gonna definitely try that tonight.
Do it, please. Try it. Another recommendation I have that so we have both of these on our app in a variety of different practices, ranging from just a few minutes up to this one I'm about to describe, which is 30 minutes. And it is Yoga Nidra. And that is, very relaxing. It's, I suppose, don't quote me on this. In my opinion, it's a sort of meditation. It is a yoga practice, but it is designed to. You're not supposed to fall asleep while you do it, although you sometimes do, and
Sometimes.
that's okay too. And that's okay too because it is really relaxing, and it entails a body scan that is guided by the teacher and takes you through, through the entire body, head to toe and back up, and allows you to drop in really deeply into a meditative state or fall asleep.
Depends on when you're doing it, right? I guess if you're doing
Yeah.
it in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
would that be done in the morning or
I like it after lunch, which is probably
okay.
why it's a little sleepy. But I do like, you don't want to do it too late in the day because it could then interfere with your sleep.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I like that. And so there's all kinds of videos for breathing. There's
Audio, but yes,
audio. Okay.
all kinds, all
Cool.
kinds.
Cool.
Yeah. And we use our social media as a way to kind of give video where it's needed. But these teachers that we feature on the app are so, I mean, they have a way of explaining so that it's can be very well understood without seeing the video.
Right.
And then everything is generally all levels friendly. So it's not, we're not trying to advise someone to do something very complicated where they can't see the teacher doing it. So the explanations they suffice. Yeah.
Cool. So it's not just for people who do yoga, it's for anybody.
Exactly. Yes.
I think
Yeah.
I've gone to a yoga class here and there. It's been a long time, but when they do the poses, I kind of like to see the teacher and make sure I'm like doing the
Mhm.
right pose. So I like
Mhm.
that it's going to be very self-explanatory where you can just flow with what they're saying.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, 80% of the our subscribers are new to yoga or don't consider themselves a seasoned yogi. So it is really more about the effects of yoga: stretching, flexibility, resilience, relaxation, calming your mind, focus, setting an intention, all of those things that come from a yoga practice, but also come from, even just doing this for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, no, I think we all need that for sure. That's basically what I talk about in my coaching as far as like you need to have some time for yourself. It's going to make your day a lot better. Having habits that are going to help you fall asleep, start your day right, whatever is going to make your day a 1% better, it's all that
1%, exactly. 1% better every day if you can. Yeah.
matters.
I know, I completely agree. And I think it's really easy to get overwhelmed by all the things that we want to improve in our lives. And if, I suppose that's my advice, but it's also note to self because it's advice that I could take as well, which is just, small changes every day and the big impact that we know that they have. I love to look back at, where I was 6 months ago or where I was a year ago and go, wow, okay, like my practice, I'm there twice as much, or I'm I have this new routine that now feels really natural. And I think that when you it always feels really, I don't know, it feels daunting at first. But if you just do, I mean, even if it's like I'm going to do 30 minutes a day, and then you look back and you're like, well, I got up to 15 minutes every other day. Well, that's a great accomplishment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's funny because it's so easy to look ahead and be like, oh my God, I have to start here. And what if it doesn't
Hmm.
get done? But when we look back and just look at how much we've grown, how much we're
Hmm.
doing, like we see like it's improvement. Anything is going to improve. And it's
Yeah.
always good to kind of look towards the future and, like you said, set those intentions that are really going to propel you to what you're trying to achieve. And I think this is such a great way to incorporate that and just what I say, incorporating a healthy living, whether it's doing yoga, whether it's setting new habits, whether it's developing new routines for a better lifestyle for yourself. And that's what people want. And, when I ask people, what do you want to do? Most of them, 100%, is always, I want to be healthier. I want to live stronger. I want to be healthy and have longevity and, being able
Hmm.
to play with my kids. And these are just little small things that are going to help them get there.
Definitely. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you say your favorite part about Yoga Wake Up would be?
Oh, well, this isn't really helpful for anyone else. I'm like working with my husband. Because he developed the app. We work on it together all the time. My favorite part of it for listeners, for the
Sure,
community,
yeah.
for our subscribers, um, it would be the creative content that we have on the app. We have this one practice called Today is Yours. The teacher's name is Kate Lister, and the reviews just say it all because she gets you dancing, and people are like, whoa, I didn't expect that. I didn't know that I was going to be dancing. Like, and it's that kind of unconventional um, audio that we have a lot of on the app because it's the teachers that we love. It's ones that have been recommended, and then um, based on the enthusiasm from our subscribers, will record more with those specific teachers. We have this teacher on the app. His name's Vance, and he's just a total delight. He's so much fun. And if you ever get a chance, like if you're ever in LA and you get a chance to practice with him in person, I highly recommend it because he's so full of life, and you get like a snapshot of that in the app, and you get to
Nice.
experience it in the app. And yeah, it's just a unique experience when you are waking up with audio content because you do feel like you're like much closer to the person.
Yes.
We've had people say, it feels like I'm waking up with my best friend or my mom or someone
Oh,
who's like a nurturing, comforting voice in the room, and maybe even it
I love
helps
that.
with loneliness and
Yes, for
connection.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would say that's it. It's just these like phenomenal personalities that have really
I made
creative
that
audio
happen.
content. Yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
that's a lot of fun.
So, as we are ending our conversation today, what is something that, you could give to that person, that mom, that teacher that, wants to download it? What is one takeaway I think that you would give to the listener today?
Yeah, I just would say be kind to yourself and remember, this wellness. It shouldn't be overwhelming. Like it should feel accessible. It doesn't need. You don't need to go big or take on too much at once. Just um, you know, give yourself some grace, and I know we already said it, but focus on just 1%, like little small improvements every
Yeah.
day. And that's really what we try to achieve with the app. Again, the content is short. Like we
Yep.
we have a lot of audio that's 15 minutes, and our community is like shorter,
Yep.
10, 8. So there's a timestamp on everything. And yeah, I think it's just really important that um, we all carry so much, and it's just, I think, important that we remember
For
to
sure.
be
I
kind.
love that.
Be
Yes.
kind. Yeah.
For those who want to download your app or want to find more about you, where can we do that?
So the app is on iOS and Android, so you can download it wherever you download your apps, the App Store or Google Play. We actually have a new update coming up where you'll be able to, at least on iOS, you'll be able to use iOS shortcuts and automate your wake ups, which is pretty exciting because it takes even more of the guesswork out of it. It's makes the
Awesome.
habit that much easier. You can find us on Instagram and TikTok at Yoga Wake Up and yogawakeup.com. And I'd be happy to, I'll give you a discount offer that you can put in the show notes as
Oh,
well. So,
yeah.
um,
Awesome.
so look out for that too. It'll be a link that is clickable.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will put that on the show notes. Thank you. This was a nice call. I
Thank
love
you.
having this, and thank you for joining me
Thanks so much
today.
for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Bye.